Hello, you wonderful Yorkshire puddings and little sausages. And right, here's a nice video for you. Here's a good question. Who is better, Ultimate Gohan or Ultimate Gohan? I know. Right, so we have STR Ultimate Gohan and we have Tech Ultimate Gohan. Who's going to be the best? This is actually quite a tricky question, and it kind of depends on how much of a nerd you really are. So let's have a look. So let's compare the leader skills first, because that will probably come down to a lot of the credit at the end. So we're on Tech Ultimate Gohan, so at the moment we have Saviors and Hybrid Saiyans at 130 to HP, but attack and defense is a flat out 170. Now that's good because he's both Saviors and Hybrid Saiyans. Now Hybrid Saiyans doesn't necessarily need the support or even the leader skill. There's plenty of other Hybrid Saiyan leads out there, but the Saviors, he's probably the only true Saviors one out there. With the Saviors category, he is probably still one of the best one, if not the best one in there. However, we check out STR Ultimate Gohan and check it out, Hybrid Saiyans. This is his Easy A, by the way, but after of which 170%. Of course, I should say then we're going to talk about Easy A STR Ultimate Gohan, right? Because before this guy wasn't capable. So he is the better. The thing is, it's hard to say. He has the better Hybrid Saiyans of a flat out 170. But this guy has saviors. So that kind of depends on whether or not you need a saviors. Or you can build a team that has saviors in it that's not necessarily this guy as the lead. So there we go. So sticking back with this guy. So realistically, it's going to come down to short bursts or long bursts. So short bursts, so the short fights like Super Battle Road, Extreme Super Battle Road, Red Zones, right? Some of the basically more difficult content. You're probably going to want this guy. He has a higher start of turn defense. He greatly raises for the turn. And yeah, so that is much better on than having what this guy has. He has a very similar start of turn. In fact, might even be so. He does struggle with ki for a little bit, but he stacks. So he builds up slowly. He only has a 20% raise to his defense, but that's every time. In fact, actually, no, he's greatly raised. So it is 50% raise every single time, but it's that. But this guy is perhaps a little bit better for the start of the turn. So on top of this, it's not only do you get slightly a little bit more start of turn stats, he does greatly raise defense for the turn, greatly raises attack as well. So that's pretty good. So he might be better off start off. So his starting turn defense is better. And I must admit that's the case. I only have one dupe on this guy, and I have myself personally, I have 3 on this guy. And this guy, he has around on a 200% team, he really is only knocking around somewhere 100 to about 120k. And this guy on a 200% lead, rocking somewhere between 175 and 190k start of turn. So there's quite a lot of difference. That little amount makes a world of difference. So then it comes down to what can they do? Well, they both guard. Specifically, this guy only has a 50% to guard, right? He has a high chance of guarding all attacks. That's a 50%. But this guy flat out has the guard. Now that helps because he permanently guards flat out. It helps with the fact that despite the fact that it says he has 140%, it's 140% off this. Whereas Ultimate Gohan has, well, pretty much the same sort of deal, closer to 11,000. Not only is it slightly closer to 11,000, but you're also getting like 14% extra, which matters a lot, especially when you're rocking them on at least a 170, 200%. So he has slightly higher start of turn defense. If he guards, if that 50% triggers, then this guy is better within the first few turns than this guy. So, but the thing is, it won't take too long though, because he does greatly stack both attack and defense. More specifically, let's just talk about his defense. It won't be long before he actually starts building up. And if you get additionals with this guy, he's going to double greatly stack. And it would only take a few super attacks to actually outclass this guy. This guy would have to then double super to become on par. Funny enough, despite the fact that he greatly stacks attack and defense, his attack stats are terrible. They truly are terrible. 17,300 seems pretty great. But after this guy's Easy A, he's on 20,000. So we're talking way better. right? It's I mean, they might have a comparable defense, but honestly, that just makes it slightly better. And of course, he hits way harder. So, as I say, for very short bursts, you probably want to rely on this guy and just have a little bit of luck that the RNG helps with high chance. So, what else do they do then to try and break it down? Well, straight away, this guy, he gives superclass allies 50% defense. Not only that, but superclass allies that belong to Entrusted will get 2 key 30% attack. Now, it's nice that you get this. This is more important, but it would have been nice if you get, say, 1 key as well, and you get the additional 2 and attack for Entrusted Will. Now, the good thing is they do share quite a lot of categories. In fact, Entrusted Will is also something that this guy is on. They do share quite a lot, Entrusted Will. So you can actually get that. Imagine he on a 170% and you're giving this guy, I mean, he's only losing, well, he can actually lose up to around like 50k starter turn defense. It's actually shocking just how little defense this guy has at the start of turn. It's ridiculous. Imagine giving him a little extra defensive boost, and what, he guard and he greatly stacks. It's ridiculous, right? So then let's see what else that they do, because in comparison, this guy has no support, none at all. He doesn't get anything. So what else does he do? So when he guards all the attacks, he launches an additional attack that has a high chance of 50% of becoming a super attack for 4 turns when your guard is activated. So this guy has like a pseudo permanent guard, so he has a high chance of guarding. If it triggers, the next 4 turns is a guaranteed guard, and of which he has a 50% chance of doing additional super. What does this guy get? He does guarantee a guard, so they're kind of on the same sort of lines. For a few rotations, you're going to have guard. What does this guy have? He builds up key, and he gets an additional attack whenever it's activated, right? So whenever he gets hit, he has a 40% attack. Yeah, okay. So this guy gives attack and is a bit of a support, but this guy gets just himself. I'm telling you though, even though he gets this, even though he gets 40%, he's still woefully down. But then again, to be fair, you wouldn't build this guy with crits, and you wouldn't rely on this guy's offensive power, even if you transformed him. Even when you transformed him, he becomes super effective against all types for a little while. But no, even with this, he sucks in terms of attack, and honestly, this guy would be better as a starting turn of defense, but also just in general for way more attack. You know, he also greatly raises the attack as well, just for the turn. It's ridiculous. So I mean, this guy will continuously just get more powerful in his attack stats will just go up and up and up. But eventually there will be a turning point where his defensive ability, even if you get the double super, which greatly raises your defense, your attack stats are through the roof. This guy, he does build up. The only thing keeping him in contention these days, because he has dropped off a lot in terms of viability defensively, he was a stone wall. He can be, but because of his starter turn defense, the only thing to keep him in the game is that he still greatly stacks. Right, so I mean, in certain long events, if you can, well, in some medium events as well, depending how it goes. If you get lucky with like additional supers, you could stall out some red zone stages, and you could try and build him up a little bit, especially with double supers. When it comes to the longer events, some of the Infinite Histories, and of course some of the Fight and Legend events, he will be better than the STR counterpart. Especially, I mean, take GT Goku. By the time you hit probably GT Goku's the Great Ape phase, you're probably thinking this guy's going to be better defensively. He's going to have the guaranteed guard for sure. Well, then again, pseudo guard. You get the guard before, you're going to have pseudo permanent guard, right? But you'll find that this guy, not only does he greatly stack, it'll come to a point where he will overtake. But then again, that being said, they're still fantastic, and it's taking long events only to surpass this guy. So what else do they do? Well, not really much. This guy, he just builds up key and gets a little bit of attack. With this guy, he's fantastic for Entrusted Will and gives everyone a superclass allies flat out 50% defense regardless, which is really good. So what else do they do? Well, this guy does nothing much else, but he does more than the tech. Except the tech can transform. in particular, he can become quite solid. He gets when it becomes into this one, this is where it gets a little bit murky. This is where this guy could then actually be quite good. But by the time you've actually transformed, I mean, you're at the fifth turn. I mean, at this point, so let's see. You do get 3 key 158% of stats, which basically is the same as the STR. You maintain complete guard, which is really nice. And you get the additional attack for the rest of the battle when the guard is activated. That's kind of okay. Basically, it goes up from 40 to 58%. And then you're super effective against all types against an enemy, just one, whose HP is more than 59%, right? Or when there's a margin boot category enemy. Outside of that, it's nice that you can get it with just one enemy who has basically full health, right? Just a little more than half health. So you can become that. But again, even though that he's super effective against all types, he has a slightly higher buff, and he has a slightly higher starter turn defense, and he greatly raises attack this time round, he still falls shy. However, this being said, this is where this guy can become better. Because by then you've been stacking, and you've been stacking, and you begin getting lucky, then you can double stack. And then that's where you can become greatly impressive. And it'll come to a point where you'll be able to transform, and you'll be almost unstoppable. Because when you transform, you get a little extra starter turn defense. And then suddenly, after all of this, it looks very similar to this, right? In fact, the only thing that's stopping these guys is the fact that this guy is just a buff. At the very end of the day, even if you hate him, this guy, because he only has a high chance of guarding, he is still giving this, which is ridiculous. And then, of course, it's not exactly difficult to get that. And Trusted Will, there is far more, there's a few quality people in there you can actually get out of this. So yeah, so let's have a look at some of the links and look at some of the teams. So he has 11 and these have 13. This one has 13. The only ones that he doesn't have is Resurrected Warriors and Defenders of Justice. He doesn't have Resurrected Warriors and Defenders of Justice. STR has All in the Family, Sane Lineage, Z Fighters, Power Bestowed by God, Shocking Speed, Infighter, Fierce Battle. The links that they share is All in the Family, which is a massive 20% buff. Sane Lineage, which is key and stats, Power Bestowed by God, and Fierce Battle. Now, if you check out my top 10 best links in the game, All in the Family and the Sane Lineage, I think are in the top 5. So together, you're going to be getting 25% defense, 25% defense, 5% attack, and 2 key. Important for this guy. In fact, important for both of these. They both share Power Bestowed by God and Fierce Battle, giving them quite a nasty attack. That's up to 30 extra attack. So basically, they're getting like 30 plus attack and defense by what? 35% attack and what? Yeah, 30% defense with 2 key. Ridiculous. Look at all of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. There's 11 teams. As I say, the only ones they aren't on is Revenge and Defenders of Resurrected and Defenders of Justice. But imagine running these two as a combination. You've got Rapid Growth, Revenge, Saviors, Entrusted Will. I mean, these are horrible teams. Even Margin Buu Saga's dropped off a little bit. You want to run, say, Goku Family. You want to run Powerful Comeback, probably one of the best teams going. Sibling Bonds, Bond of Parent and Child, one of the best teams going. Ridiculous, right? You could use this guy to guard, and then you could use this guy to finish off enemies. You could even use the STR first for the beginning of short events and use him to mop up and take care of some of the more threatening ones, just to tank some blows. But they both need their guards, but if they do, along with like All in the Family and the Same Lineage, I'm telling you, this guy's start of turn defense goes over 200, and this guy goes much closer to 150. And that's way, way better. Getting All in the Family, especially with the same lineage, but All in the Family, telling you, his is over 200, and his is much, much closer to it. Like, he really benefits from it. So, yeah, in terms of the people that they actually link with, it's going to be largely the same, right? We'll check it out. Yep, largely the same. So, of course, we have all the other Ultimate Gohans. We even have the future Gohans in Trusted Will Trunks. Let's check them out. Yeah, this guy doesn't have the Entrusted Will Trunks, but he has all the future Gohans. We have the Namek Saga Goku, right? He's in there. Check it out. Namek Saga Goku, he's also in there. and he's got Kaioken Goku. I think the only difference realistically is this guy can be compatible with like the GT Heroes and the LR Gohan from the new year, but this guy has more movie related ones. It's a bit weird. Like you got this guy, you've got him from the Majin Buu saga, right? So it's a bit odd. You got some random ones in there, but they both work well with a lot of these characters. The Ultimate Gohans in particular. In fact, a lot of these would share same warrior race. That's really what's helping them out there. Or same lineage, rather. Some of these would share same lineage, sorry. So that's what's going to help them out. When you come to the... Yeah, so again, I think it's... Yeah, Hybrid Saiyans. You could run Hybrid Saiyans. You could run both of them. You could run this guy as well. If you have this shiny new LR, I mean, you'd be quite unstoppable. You know, you got the future Gohan, you got the physical future Gohan as well. You know, he's just had his EZA. Probably a good video to do between those two versions, but yes. So it's going to be a bit of a funny one. So I would say the STR is probably better for the start. Yes, he only has a 50% chance to guard, but he's going to give more support. He's going to have way more attack, and his start to turn defense is going to be just a little bit better. It makes all the difference, even if you have these side by side. However, as I said it at the beginning, there's a point. Greatly stacking, there's a point. And then eventually defensively, you could switch into this guy. And then at one point, you know, you can easily get 500k, 600k defense out of long events. And suddenly the STR is just, yeah, he's a powerhouse. But this guy is, you know, a tank powerhouse, right? He really is dominant. And of course, at this point, then, you know, he's still maintained 3 ki, get a bit of extra. When this guy transforms, so he's more offensively capable, still maintains guard, right? You're going to have a start of turn defense that's boosted. That's going to be brilliant. And of course, he greatly raises attack. That's only for the turn, but it's fine because you've been building your defense. So it's going to come down to how much of an urge you really are. Just how much finicky can you actually get with these guys? So you have one who's better for the start, and then truly he is good. There's no doubt. I mean, I would probably wager to say, even with all these fancy numbers, you know, you need this. But what helps is it's guaranteed for 4 turns, right? Whereas this guy start off lower. Well, he's a stacking unit. I guess stacking units do have slightly lower, right? And then of course, you know, he does maintain his guard, so you know that is something, right? One is more for him, and he builds up his own ki, and then the other one just gives tremendous support. So again, they're absolutely unstoppable. I mean, imagine when you transform into the Tech Ultimate Gohan when he transforms, and he's still getting this 2 ki, 30% attack. He gets 58 when he gets hit. It's ridiculous. Right, that's going to be it for this video. I can't go on too much longer. So it's going to depend now then on who you are going to run. He has a better leader skill, but that comes down to whether or not you think Saviors is a good team. Remember, this guy is probably the MVP on Saviors, but realistically, you know, he has a better leader skill. He has a better start of turn strategy, a better start of turn stats. You know, he is, you know, a fantastic support, and when he guards, he does keep it for a few turns, and he is way more powerful. But this guy, he's solid, he's reliable, he's old trusty. He does struggle at the start, but he builds it up. He does permanently guard, period, and he does greatly stack. If you don't get double supers, he's not going to look as impressive as you think. But, you know, assuming we get double supers, yeah, then he's great. Okay, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you very much. I have been your favourite British YouTuber. No, I haven't. But okay, fair enough. Right, thank you very much for watching. And if you liked it, you liked it. If you didn't, sax to be you. All right, bye-bye.